Welcome back to National Report. A New York entrepreneur was just looking for love, but hit an unexpected hurdle. The 32-year-old Israeli defense soldier says he was permanently banned from several dating apps. He claims the ban happened after posting a picture dressed in his Israeli military uniform.
Noy Leyb returning home after spending more than 4 months fighting Hamas in the Gaza Strip with his unit in the IDF. Leyb saying several popular dating apps informed him he was, quote, in violation of their terms and guidelines and deleted him, but didn't identify what the specific violation was for. Hinge and Tinder, both owned by Match Group, did not respond to a request for comment. But we have him here. We welcome in IDF soldier Noy Leyb joining us now. Noy, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. We do appreciate that. We have a lot of questions for you in terms of what we've seen thus far with the Israel-Hamas war, perhaps what you've seen. But I want to see here specifically something we've been monitoring. Again, anti-Semitism, the rise of anti-Semitism within this nation. You say you were banned from dating apps, Hinge, Tinder, OkCupid. You appealed. Your appeals were denied. You claimed the sites didn't identify what the violation was. Do you have any idea what it could be as we show a still photo from the dating app here of how you have been removed? Do you know why?
Look, I'm not one to blame things on anti-Semitism right away. I hate doing that. But look, I've never disrespected anyone on the platform. I've never lied. I've never catfished. There's no reason for me to have been banned. But the last change that I made on my profile was putting up a picture of me in the army showing support for Israel and the Jewish people. And the next thing I know, I come back to the US, to New York, where I am today, and I get an email from Hinge and from Tinder and from OkCupid saying that my account has been banned.
Wow. And it sounds like you wanted to find an explanation as to why that was the case, prompting Hinge to respond, saying members will not promote physical, emotional, and psychological abuse, harm, harassment, hate, or discrimination. You say you received this email from the Hinge Trust and Safety team saying you're in violation of our terms of service and our community guidelines. Therefore, the account will remain banned. Decision informed. Final subsequent appeals will not be considered. So Noy, again, sort of no clear explanation as to what it was, if it was that picture or if it was that uniform. But did you have any issues prior to posting those photos?
No, I haven't had any issues on Hinge. Hinge actually worked for me pretty well pre-October 7th. And, you know, I actually message a lot of people on LinkedIn that work for Hinge saying, hey, what's going on? Why am I banned? Only one person got back to me, the VP of Trust and Safety. And yeah, Hinge has been good. But, you know, once you show support from Israel, I have, you know, quite a few followers on Instagram. I'm a very outspoken and loud and proud Jewish person. And this is what happens when Jewish people are loud and outspoken.
You know, I can somewhat relate to you in a way of being on these apps. It's been years since I have been on these dating apps, but it is, as you know, and many may not know, from a different generation, this is how you date. If you take that person off of these apps, the organic way, again, stars have to align to find that person right in your face if you don't find them on these apps, especially in major cities. You're in New York City. That completely pulls you out, again, from if your mission is to find your future partner and you want to utilize today's modern techniques, which would be the dating apps. You can't do it anymore. And you notice the change when you put up something that you're proud about, fighting for your country, fighting for your people. I'm sure you've been outspoken about that to maybe your friends or family. What has their reaction been like?
I mean, you know, my younger brother, he actually met his wife on one of these apps, OkCupid. So these apps do work. Like you said, it's, you know, part of our life today, and people from a previous era may not understand. But, you know, they said everything is for the best. And, you know, if you're not going to find someone on these apps, you'll find someone in person. And, you know, we're cool about it. My life wasn't dependent on this app. I wasn't on Hinge all day, every day. In fact, when I was in Gaza, as you know, as a combat soldier, I didn't have my phone with me. But yeah, definitely, you know, me looking for someone Jewish, it decreases the, you know, the options already. So being banned from these apps doesn't help. And you see US military men, which I highly respect, on these apps in uniform with guns. You see hunters with guns. You see policemen in uniform on these apps with guns. But when a Jewish person does it, why is it different?
Yeah. And again, the great question that you ask, no clear answer from these apps, no specific details. Noy, while we've got you, if you could just comment on your experience fighting with the IDF, pair it with the same time. Just the other day, we'd seen a college campus in the U.S. There had been protests just outside a Jewish event where there was going to be a speaker from Israel coming in, and it was met with all of this response by anti-Israel protesters. Could you comment on what you're seeing stateside compared to what you're seeing overseas?
Yeah, I mean, I was in New York on October 7th. I flew to Israel right away to fight in the war in Gaza. And honestly, I didn't know a lot of what was going on in the world because we were focused on eliminating Hamas, on bringing back the hostages. And I used my phone probably about 5 times in the span of 90 to 100 days. But when I came back to New York last week, and right now I'm on a mission to go around the US and speak to people, Jews, non-Jews, anyone, about my time, and really explain to them what I saw from my eyes, the anti-Semitism that I've seen here is, I'm not talking about the 900% increase on anti-Semitism that has been found on college campuses since the start of the war. I'm telling you my personal experience. I came and I rented a place in New York, and the person that I'm renting from, she took off her mezuzah from the door because she didn't want people to know that Jews were living there. I went to the gym yesterday and I wore a shirt with an Israeli flag on it. And you see people looking at you. People are hiding their Jewish stars. They're taking off their kippahs, and Jews are scared here. And you know, in an era where we celebrate diversity and everyone can be their own person, you should be proud, Jews are hiding, and I'm really feeling it in New York. I'm not hiding, but many others are.
That's Noy Leyb with his story. Noy, we hope to stay in contact with you. Thank you so much for that. We do appreciate that you sharing your story for our viewers this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.